I just want to make sure.
She's just triple checking. Good morning.
Good morning, Cass.
How are you?
I'm recovering. How are you?
Same here.
Happy Saturday. Happy once a month, our awesome coffee talk time.
The last one of this year.
I know. Hanukkah just finished up. That was very fun, long 8 days. And then Christmas is next week.
Yeah.
And New Year. And then 2020 is over.
Right?
Yeah.
New Year started.
Are you ready for Christmas?
I think so. Actually, right after this, we're running across the street. We're doing gifts at my mom's house and breakfast after this.
Aw, do you guys normally do it a little bit earlier before Christmas?
We used to do it Christmas morning, but since the kids are getting older, they want to like stay home and play with their presents. So we've kind of changed it to where we do it a little before, which the kids are okay with.
Oh yeah, you're almost making like a Hanukkah thing out of it, spreading it out in a million days.
They got gifts yesterday. They'll get gifts today. They'll get gifts Christmas Eve. It's nonstop for like a week and a half.
Oh my goodness! We just, like I said, finished up with Hanukkah, and like on even the 6th or 7th day, even the kids were like, what is that?" You know, it's a problem when there's that many gifts that they're getting sick of them. So
Yes.
I always tell them at that point, I'm like, isn't it amazing how awesome Christmas is? One day, all gifts and done. Yeah. But now it sounds like you guys are spreading it out too. So you're adding chaos to your life.
Yes. Yes. It's a little less this year just because of everything going on. We have a lot less stops. Usually we have about 6 stops we go to between Christmas Eve and Christmas. But
yeah. No, this year is definitely different. And that is why we thought it would be perfect, right? To do a 2020 real estate recap. And then what do people predict, economists predict for 2021? What do we feel being in the field again of what's going on and what we think is going to happen next year?
Yeah,
I'm excited about our session today.
I'm excited for 2021 too. Yes, it'll be good.
I think a lot of people are kind of done with 2020 and they're wanting to move on. It affected a lot of people in different ways. Real estate has done well, and that's going to be the goal for today is to, I feel like a lot of people that we talk to, they know it, they feel it. I mean, they're seeing houses in their neighborhoods are selling quickly. So I don't think what we're going to talk about, people are going to be like, oh my goodness, what? I did not know that. However, I think the recap of 2020 of what we're going to present is going to help whoever's watching or watching later give some real data and stats on what's causing the stats to be as good as they are, what's causing the market to be as healthy as it has been.
Yeah. And I think people don't know what to expect for 2021 because of how this year went.
Yeah.
They think it's not going to be the same or so.
I think that because we are going to show graphs. So for those people who don't like graphs, I apologize. They're going to check out probably and be bored. But I think what I like about graphs is it's very visual and you can see progression and growth and going downs and dips and all that. So I think that would also help us understand and see what should happen in 2021 based on those graphs.
We love stats and graphs.
Yes, we do. Yeah. And the last thing, and then we're going to dive into some really important stats. We're matching again and totally not on purpose. I don't know how that's happening. We literally just log in and we're like, how the heck are we wearing the same stuff?
Last time was like pink too. So now we're going a little darker for winter.
I know, it's crazy. And I don't ever wear this, like it's actually like a shirt dress. I never ever wear. Like last time I wore it was like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And today I was like, I'm in a mood for this. And you're wearing the same color.
I love it.
Yes. Well, there's going to be the typical format. I'm going to share a screen, so I'll be able to go over different slides. And then, Cass, just pay attention to if there's any questions. Because
I'm going to log on to Facebook now and take a look how many people are watching with us.
Yes, and then a lot more people watch later on as well. So if you're watching this podcast in the future, don't hesitate to still ask questions right on there. We do pay attention to them in the future and we'll respond to you, or obviously private messages or give us a call. I'll put our phone numbers at the end so you guys can give us a call and we can hopefully help you in any way we can. All right, I'm going to start sharing. Okay, Cass?
Yes, I'm ready. We got about 6 to 8 people jumping on and off.
Perfect. All right, let's do this. Welcome everybody who's joined. Thank you for coming. And thank you for being interested in real estate like we are. We are obsessed with it. So we're glad somebody else is too. 2020 real estate recap. Let's start this. All right, so I'm going to go to my coffee talk and I'm going to press present. All right, before I get started, Cass, can you see everything?
Yes, we are clear.
Perfect. So this is obviously presented by Cassandra Nelson and I in the Distinct Home Group. And again, as always, thank you to Hannah, our marketing and event planner who puts all these things together for us. She, when she does research all over. So we try not to just focus on only Keller Williams charts or only specific brokerages or whatever. We're looking at all different sources when gathering this information. So this is as general as we possibly could. All right, so the next thing is one of the things we wanted to talk about. This is just more of a recap of 2020, just fun facts. So first of all, number 4, so Cleveland was number 4 city where your paycheck will go the furthest. I thought it was a really interesting stat, so we wanted to make sure we let you know so your money goes further and you can buy more and nicer things. It was actually voted in 2020 as a number 10 best city for the first-time home buyers. So that makes sense because obviously, not obviously, because we have a more affordable housing, first-time buyers have more capability of buying it. So number 10 city in the country. The one thing that is really, really cool that I do want to point out, and it makes a lot of sense on why we have so many investors in our market right now from all over the country, all over the world. A lot of realtors get a lot of phone calls. And it was actually, Cleveland was rated number 1 city to buy a home for best rental return. Kat, what would you say this year, how many more investors were you working with this year compared to before?
Oh, I think a couple of those kind of fit this year. The best city for the first-time home buyers, your paycheck will get the furthest. I think it's the first one I was thinking of. We had people relocating too, because where they were from, their paycheck, where they were living wasn't matching up. So Cleveland was, I think, 2 or 3 families moved here from different places. Cleveland area.
You're right. I didn't think about that. I was thinking more for rentals because you've been working with so many investors lately. But you're right. We had so many people from California that moved, and it was funny when we do not funny, but it's just when we're having our pre-qual conversation, what's bringing you here, the things that we usually hear for most of the time in the past when somebody says they're moving here, it's always a job, right? My job is moving me to the area and I'm forced to come to Cleveland. And we're like, we make jokes, poor you, this and that. And then we go from there. Well, this year it was very unusual. The 3 or 4 families that Cassie's referring to, they literally looked at the map of the country, did their research, and picked it as a place that they wanted to raise their family, and found companies to relocate to, and were proactive. But it was their initiative to come to Cleveland. You're absolutely right. That was a really cool example you brought there. Yeah,
and then investors. I think 3 or 4 investors right now. Plus, we have current ones that are still investing.
Yeah,
so that means a big one too this year.
Yeah. And the ones that she's talking about are really specifically from, they've never been to Cleveland. It's just literally by doing the research and seeing the return. So long story short, if you are thinking of investments, Cleveland is a great place to buy real estate and rent it out, and your return for your money. I mean, most of our investors buy properties between, I would say, $70,000 to max $150,000.
Yeah.
And most of the time we rent them out between $1,200 and almost $2,000 a month. That's very unheard of conversion of how much money, how much your money can go for purchase of a property, and then how much it costs for you to get a return for rent. So just giving you some stats on that. The other thing is just Forbes voted Ohio, so not just specifically Cleveland, as the best state for startup, which is really, really exciting. So obviously when there's startup companies and people see, opportunity here, that just means more jobs, more people moving out here, and therefore our economy is getting better and better. So that was really cool stuff that we wanted to share too. All right, let's go to some fun slides. So here's, we're gonna start with the first one. So we are recapping again what is going on with 2020, and then we're going to go into 2021 afterwards. So this is all comparing 2020. A majority of it is comparing it to also previous years. Most of them will be comparing it to 2019, so year-to-year change. But this particular chart actually shows what has happened in 2020 with unemployment rate compared to the Great Recession, which would happen in 2007 to 2012. So I got into real estate in 2004, which was an amazing market, and then I personally experienced the down and what happened in 2007 to 2012. So I lived through that, and it was very nicely said, interesting times. So this is actually a comparison between the two that I thought was phenomenal to see. So if you look at 2007 to 2012, the unemployment rate started at 5%, and then at the peak, when it was the worst, got to 10%, and then it started going down. And you can see here, by May 2013, it got down to 7.5%. Well, in 2020, and this is why I think a lot of people are shocked with, how COVID was going to affect and unemployment, how many people were affected by it. It started very low. So if you look at everybody's plan for 2020, realtors, we were all on a very high mode. It was January, February was crazy busy. Unemployment rate was, super low. And then we all know what happened in March when things started shutting down. So at the peak in April, the unemployment rate was 14.7%, which is really, really high. But the reason we wanted to point this out, and it's really interesting status, first of all, you see that it's at a peak, but then you see it going down. So on a positive note, it's going down and it's getting lower and lower and lower. But also you will see that why real estate was not affected by it as much is because you'll see when we dissect who's in the 14.7% unemployment, who they are, like who are the people that were affected by it the most, and are they the people who are buying real estate in the market? So that will give you more information later. So on a positive note, unemployment rate is going down and it's getting lower and lower.
That's great to see.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So this right here is diving into it a little bit more for the number junkies here, to people who are listening to see what's going on. So unemployment versus by age. So if you look at it, and this is comparing 2019 to 2020. So these are the two charts. So if you look at it, one second, let me get this. There it is. Sorry, I went too fast. Sorry, I was trying to get a chart so I can read something below it, and it went to a different place. No, that's not what I want. No. I'm sorry, one second. I apologize that I went too far.
You're good. Oh, you went all the way to the end.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm going to exit and start from beginning. I apologize for that.
There you go.
All right, I apologize. I have all these bars below, so I wanted to read below so I can actually tell you more stuff. So anyway, so this is telling you the age of people. So if you look at the unemployment rate compared to the age of people who are purchasing real estate, the unemployment rate is the highest with a category of 24 or younger. So the people that were affected the most by the highest unemployment rate were the younger generation. And you'll see again in the next slide why they were. And if you look next to it, they're only consist of 3% of the market of people who are actually buying real estate. I don't know if that makes sense. So if you look at the unemployment rate for 2020, the lowest rate was at 5.7 for the highest category of people purchasing. So the age of people who are buying most real estate is 35 and older. And if you look at them, they were not affected by unemployment. That makes sense?
Yeah, I think you explained that perfectly.
Awesome. Okay, so this right here is same thing, but now it's comparing not just age and the percentage, but it's also comparing unemployment to who's making, the earnings part of it.
Yeah.
So if you look at, this is all 2020 comparison. And if you look below on these charts, it says all the different categories of jobs that are out there: financial, professional business, wholesale trade, construction, manufacturer, transportation. If you look at the highest percentage of unemployment rate it was leisure and hospitality, which I'm sure a lot of
They
people are
were
not so.
down for a while.
Yeah. They were the most affected. They're still affected. That's why Distinct Home Group, and I hope a lot of people who are listening here are doing their best to help local restaurants and local businesses in the area, because they were affected the most. But if you look at their earnings part of it, they're on the lowest spectrum of who's making the most money in general. So if you look at that, so if you look at the chart overall, the people who produce the most amount of money, which is in the financial world, they have the lowest unemployment. So they did not lose jobs, they're making money, and therefore they were able to buy houses. This chart to me made the most sense when I was dissecting and I'm trying to understand why this year has been as successful as it has been for real estate. This chart, I think, explains the most of that. All right, this is just a chart to compare 2019 to 2020. What's been going on from January to October? That's the furthest there were stats of what the sales were, what was happening with the sales. So if you look at, oh my goodness, this is so annoying. I'm sorry. Every time I press the one thing, it goes like this. I apologize.
That'll take you to the end again.
I know. It's the only way I can stop it. Oh, this is so embarrassing. I'm sorry about that. I'm back to this, right? Yes. So long story short, if you look at it every single month, January 2020 had more sales than 2019. So the yellow is representing what happened in 2019. Blue represents what happened in 2020. And as you can look at it, starting January, we had really strong stats. And then when COVID started, so this is a perfect place to see when everybody really panicked from just personal, from health, from what's going to happen to everybody. That's when you saw just a little, actually no dive in March yet because we were still figuring things out. And then in April, when it went down, then May it went down. And then if you look at June up, it started going up. So if you look at July on, we've had stronger months in sales every single month until October. And based on what I know, November has been the same way. I just don't have that stat. So overall, from last year to this year, the stats have went up sales went up 2.3%. This is what it talks about. Okay. Month of supply inventory. So this right here is a really good chart to show you that in 2019 versus 2020, what month of supply of inventory in every single month we had, starting January to October again. Why is this important information? And if you talk to any realtor, any economist, anybody that pays attention, they always say inventory supply, inventory supply. This number gives realtors a huge understanding of, are we in a buyer's market? Are we in a seller's market? Are we in a neutral market? So from everything I've studied, if we're honestly 6 months or less, actually 4 to 6 months is considered the healthiest supply of inventory to be in, because that means there's enough opportunity for buyers, but then the sellers do really, really well. Once it goes over 6 months up, that means that we're starting to be on the other side, that there's more inventory than there's buyers in the market. I don't know if that made sense how I explained what it is, but month supply of inventory tells so much and where we're at. And if you look at it, 2019, there was more supply than in 2020. So supply went down. So every single month, except for again in May, when things slowed down, it skyked up a little bit and then it went back down. Currently, as of October, the supply is on a next level low. It's at 2.5. So we'll talk about what the prediction for 2021, which is positive for buyers on what they think is going to happen with inventory. But as of right now, we are considered in a seller's market. So if you have a home and you're thinking of moving, this is a chart that tells you a lot of, there are plenty of buyers that want to buy and there's just not enough inventory. Cass, anything you can add on it on your buy side when you're searching for houses?
I can feel this right now, how it is, the supply is even lower than it was over the summer. My buyers are feeling that, everyone thinks it's because of winter time coming up, but it's definitely less inventory right now in a lot of areas that we look in.
Yeah. So when we talk about 2021, there is some positive news to that. So we'll get into that. But for right now, if you're thinking of selling and you're thinking it's winter, who's buying houses? I don't want to do this. I want to wait till spring. As a professional, I would encourage you as much as possible not to wait. If you're looking to move, do not wait.
I have about 30 people looking for houses. So houses listed.
Cass, you're like, let me plug in. I'm looking for Orange by Beechwood. Yeah, we have a huge list of our buyers who are looking for land, who are looking for rentals. We have several of our clients that were looking for like long-term rentals for their situation and houses. And we're getting really, really creative. We're posting things on social media nonstop. We're reaching out to specific neighborhoods. We're reaching out to realtors in our office, which is always awesome. We have a huge office with a lot of realtors trying to see if they have something coming up, but we are running out of options. So if you are listening to this and you have a home, honestly, anywhere in Northeast Ohio, no matter what city you are, please private message us if you don't want to publicly announce it, and let us know where your house is at, what you want for it, what you're thinking, and then we will give you a call and let you know if we have a match for you.
That would be great.
Okay, so this chart is a comparison just to show what has happened with prices. So one of the things that people often ask, what's going on with real estate, like I said, about inventory, but also what's happening with prices. Are prices increasing? So this is actually showing in the country, and as a whole in 2020, we've had an 8.6% price increase from January to October. So you can see that progression on this chart. But if you look at this yellow line, this is talking about the interest rates going down. So the interest rates have been going down this whole year, and now we're at the lowest ever. So if you're thinking of refinancing, that's another option. I'm actually looking at a lot of different things myself to see if this is a good idea to refi, because these rates are they're like dangerously low. There's something that if you're not taking advantage of this, you're going to regret it. This is a great opportunity. But this is a very unusual part in our history where we see prices going up. Mm-hmm. Overall, economy is doing well. Unemployment overall is low, but the interest rates to borrow money are going down. This is a very unusual situation. So take advantage of it. All right. This is another question. This chart is a little overwhelming. I won't be spending too much time on it, but we do get a lot of questions from people asking, how does single family versus condo, is one better investment than the other? And, how does that compare to each other? So this is just showing you in blue, obviously, what is a condo and what's been happening with a condo, history from 2019 to 2020, how it compares, and then what is going on with single family. Cass, you actually have the stats in front of you. Are you able to look at it and just read on the comparison?
Yeah, let me pull that one up real quick. It says, so in October, the single family sales were up 4.1% and condominium sales were up 5.8%. Compared to last month, the single family homes were up 26.7%, while the condominium sales were up 25.9% compared to a year ago. And the single family homes had an increase in price up to 16% at $103,017, and the condominium rose 10.3% at $273,000 from October of 2019.
Gotcha. So overall, based on what Cass just went over, condos have a more extreme, if things go down, decline, but then they have a really good up as well. But overall, as you can see it, condos actually have been, at least at this point, are pretty neutral. And then the single families have a little bit more of a spike.
Yeah.
But from return, the single families have went up in price more than condos. But this is also really interesting, because if you look in the Cleveland market, when I started many years ago, you barely saw, new construction is a great indicator if you want to follow real estate of what is trending, what's happening, what's in, because they do so much research, especially big companies like Pulte and Ryan Homes and Dries and K. Hovnanian. They do so much predictions of what's happening. And they don't know everything, but they're really, really good for most part at predicting it correctly. So condos, you almost never saw with these big builders condos in our market in Cleveland area, in Northeast Ohio. You saw single family lot, you saw smaller cluster lots, but you didn't see true like townhome condos. Well, if you look at most of these builders, majority of their projects, first of all, they're getting more into more urban areas, and then they're also doing a lot more condos, which telling, us as realtors that the trends are going, that people are liking the simple life, condos, low maintenance, don't really care about land, and actually just want to have the convenience of being nearby things.
I had a couple people this year who had never purchased before that were in apartments. They liked the apartments with no maintenance, no lawn care, didn't want any of that, but wanted their own space. And we looked at condos and townhouses, and that's what they both bought.
Yeah. I mean, there's always been buyers for it, but it was not as much. I feel like in our market, because there was land, Northeast Ohio had land and it was affordable, majority of people went to suburbia, bought a lot of land, bought a house, big house. Like that was the thing. Right now, based on what we're seeing, it's becoming neutralized, and there's definitely enough buyers who are looking for condos. There's enough people looking for single family. It's more what you prefer.
Yes.
All right. So this is a quote that actually Hannah put in, and it was really cool. Lawrence Yan is a chief economist from National Association of Realtors. So this was his quote: "Home sales continue to amaze, and there are plenty of buyers in the pipeline ready to enter the market. Further gains in sales are likely for remainder of the year." So this was in 2020 that he said that, with mortgage rates hovering around 3% with continued job recovery. So this was a quote he wrote in middle of the year. And as we saw what was going on in the market, it actually matched it very well. So that was a good prediction, and we saw it, thank God. It was really good. All right. So we are done in 2020 recap. Kaz, did I miss anything on the checklist of things to talk about, or did I cover everything?
No, you covered everything. I was just looking at our notes.
Cool. Anything you would like to bring just from your personal feelings of 2020, being in the field and working and working with clients, working with banks, working with everybody?
I think that, especially our team, we were smart about 2020, and, thankfully it didn't affect us too much. It was just adjusting. So I'm thankful for that, and our clients, and 2020 was pretty good with everything going on.
No, you're right. It was such a, nobody could have predicted this. Nobody in 2019, we were planning for our 2020 year, and just shows how life is so unpredictable, could have planned for such a crazy thing to happen in March time, for everything to shut down. And like you said, what was so awesome, and I'm very grateful for, that we were able to, as a team, regroup, talk to our clients, communicate with our client heavily, protect them as much as we possibly could, and have the most amazing clients who trusted us through the process. And we did really, really well for them. 2020 for Distinct Home Group has been actually our record year. So we'll announce those numbers in January. But based on what we see and what we're predicting, has been our record year, which is something that if somebody told me in March that would happen, I would be shocked. But I'm very, very, very happy. And that's why we wanted to do this segment, to show you what caused it. It was obviously us regrouping and us being proactive and doing what we need to do, but it also shows what caused the market to be good for us to be able to do it. So as much as I love to give only us credit here, a lot of realtors have done really, really well in this market, who were able to adjust their systems because the market allowed us to do it. There was a lot of buyers, and the buyers that were the most, I guess is a summary for it, who were looking for homes, were not affected by COVID or job shutdowns. That's my summary for that. All right, let's talk about 2021.
Yeah.
Before I go into the slides, what is your prediction for 2021?
I'm hoping there's more inventory for my buyers. I think it's still going to be a healthy market, but hopefully there'll be more than just 1 or 2 houses for my buyers to pick from, and not 12 offers, but maybe just a couple.
So you're hoping for this is so interesting. Like when you're, obviously everybody knows, but I'll remind them, my job and our team is being a listing expert. So I work with sellers. So it's total opposite, right? I'm all like, oh my goodness, let's get 100 offers and create a bidding war. And then Cassie works with buyers and she's like, for God's sakes, can we stop? So everybody has their own agenda for 2021. Cassie wants more inventory. So that's Cassie's goal or dream. And not 20 offers on each house. And I'm the opposite. I'm like, less inventory. No, I'm kidding.
I like the competition because I think we can present everything very well on our side, but more inventory would be perfect.
Of course, which is obviously because you care about your people and you want them to pick the best of the best for sure. Yeah. All right, well, let's dive into what, all different sources we looked into are predicting for 2021, okay? All right, so this chart is very heavy that we got from Realtor.com. I hope you can see it through it, but there's a lot of information on here. The biggest thing of 2021 forecast is, so on a positive note to answer Cassie's wish, per Realtor.com forecast, they're actually saying that the inventory will increase and get to a more healthy number. And what they're saying, what's going to cause it is that just sellers will have more confidence and no fear of going in a market because they're feeling like they already know what and where. But also they're saying new construction will increase even more and build more housing. So between new construction and consumer sellers feeling more comfortable, that's what they're predicting, that the increase in inventory will happen. So Cass, you see how it works? You wish and it happens.
Yes.
So for forecast for 2021 for price increases. So this right here talks about they're predicting for price of homes to increase to 5.7%. So they're going to continue to go up. Yeah. What does that mean? Obviously, that's an exciting thing for just in general, houses go up. But if you are a buyer and you're looking, that means faster you buy and faster you secure and faster you can lock in the interest rate, better it is too, because based on the forecast, prices will continue to go up. So if you're going to wait till summer or fall or whatever it is, the same exact house will be probably worth a little more based on what they're predicting. They're saying the home sales are going to continue to go up. They're predicting 7%. So sale numbers are going to go up, prices are going to go up, and then the mortgage rates are going to continue to stay low. I actually have a really good, I have several good lenders. We both work with a lot and we trust very much. And I talked to one of them the other day and it was really informative from his perspective because he goes to a lot of other meetings as well to learn. And based on what he's learned, he's predicting, which is just really refreshing to hear from a banker because very often they try to almost scare you like interest rates low by now or low, like that. And he says, based on everything he's seeing, he does not see, interest rates really going up. I mean, they might go up 0.5% here and there, which is still a big deal, but he doesn't predict them to go up something crazy significant that will affect the buying power. They're predicting for 2021 to be stable with interest rates. So that's it. I know that was really good for me to hear. I was very excited to hear that because that makes such a big, in buying power. All right. Key housing trends for 2021. So one of the things that's interesting that we wanted to bring, like what's causing 2021 to be, what they're predicting to be successful. So the biggest generation that is entering into the market or buying in the market are considered millennials and Generation Z. Mm-hmm. So one of the things we wanted to point out, because we always joke around about millennials and how millennials are, well, when you look at this, the oldest millennials will be turning 40. So I was like, dang it, I did not think I was a millennial, but I am a millennial. Right. So they're the highest generation. So millennials and then Generation Z, which is a little bit younger than them, are the ones they're huge. They're the largest generation, like entering into the buying market in many, 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 many years, and the inventory being low. So with that combination, 2021, because of this, our generation of buying homes is going to be extremely stable. They're going to be the largest player of buying homes is the plan. The other thing that's going to cause 2021 to be still strong based on the predictions is that they're predicting that people will still continue to work remotely. So a lot of companies have had actually such success working remotely because they had to do it at first, right? They had to regroup, they had to adjust, but then they saw that their productivity is same, if not better. Their stats are same, if not better. So with that said, more and more companies are starting to lean towards having people work remote. Well, if that's the case, a lot of people are going to be affected with that because they will need to start thinking, do I have a dedicated office, which we talked about that before. Do I have a dedicated office for myself and my husband if he's working from home as well? So before, if we were sitting down with somebody, it would be very normal to talk about, I need 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, an office, 2-car garage, whatever. Well, now it's very, very common that people are asking for 2 home offices. They actually need 2 dedicated separate office spaces. So with that said, this is just saying that remote working will really continue to change continue to make the market go strong in 2021 because people will have no choice but to move to bigger spaces, different spaces, or whatever it is. The other thing is suburbia migration is going to cause, so this is more for national, not just Cleveland, because a lot of people in Chicago, all the big markets, New York, Chicago, they had to, in order not to commute to work for hours and hours and hours, had to live right in the city. Well, with remote working, there's no need. They can actually move out a little bit because they're not going to the office every day. They're going to office once a day, or once a week. So this is actually going to really help, not necessarily our market, in my opinion, based on what I know in our market, but the bigger markets like Chicago and California, or Los Angeles and Miami's in those areas. Okay. So this is just showing a housing affordability index. Cass, can you look at there's some really good notes that are for this chart that I can't see, unfortunately, because of my screen, and I don't want to click again. Can you read this one?
Let's see. I don't see another thing underneath the picture. Let me see. Oh, because of the low interest rates, the affordability reached one of the highest levels it has been in the last 30 years. Naturally, the eager buyers followed. The experts are predicting a 7% increase in home sales compared to last year that we just talked about. This signifies one big piece of news. We will likely see an increase in inventory for 2021, whether it's hesitant home buyers who waited out for the pandemic or brand new home builders. More inventory will be a welcome change for next year.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Yeah, so that's good news. So 3 reasons to be optimistic. The economy is expected to continue to improve, which is awesome based on everything we've read from multiple sources. Interest rates are projected to stay low, which is phenomenal. And then future home sales forecasted to grow. So that means more inventory for Cassie to help her clients, which is awesome. So those are the 3 main things that are there. Bottom line, despite everything that happened this year, the real estate market not only survived, but thrived, playing a big part in our economy recovering along the way. The next 12 months are just as promising, with interest rates expected to remain low, and then whatever, buyer traffic increasing. That is it. I am done. So scan me if you want to scan and follow us. Otherwise, I will wrap this up.
I love that scan code. I just used it for when we got the slide, and that'll take you to Instagram, our website, YouTube, LinkedIn. It'll take you to everything for us.
Yeah. There we go. I've got us back. I know. I love that yesterday. The girls put that together. I mean, in the past, I didn't like those bars because you had to have a special app.
Right.
That, like, you needed to have an app, you need to do it. Well, now if you literally just take your phone, it recognizes it immediately.
Yep. You hover over with your camera and there it is.
Up, and then you go on there and you can follow us all over. So that's it on that. I am done. I'm looking forward to 2021. I'm looking forward to hopefully continue to have a stellar year next year.
Yes. No, and I appreciate everyone that watches, and Ina and our team. And 2020 was great, and 2021 I think will be even better.
Yes. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day. Happy Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, and we'll see you next year. Bye, Cassie, for today.